Natasha Jonas finally gets her title over Chris Namus. Let's talk about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, in a very interesting fight with Natasha Jonas coming up 3 weight classes, she finally gets her title against Chris Namus with a stoppage in the second round. Now, like a lot of you, I picked Natasha by decision. I did not think that she would carry power moving up 3 weight classes, but she did, and she gets Chris out of there to win her title. Let's start with the pros and the cons. Let's start with Chris first. The fact that she's willing to get into the ring is enough for me to give her a pro. She was willing to get in there with another fighter. That's why every time I do a video, I like to give a fighter at least one pro. And that pro is generally that the person is game and they're ready to get in there to fight someone. That was about the only pro I can give Chris because I have to jump to the cons. The main con is that she had zero head movement. And it was not a surprise that she got knocked out and got hurt as bad as she did. Zero head movement. Even after she got hit and knocked down the first time, she still was not moving her head. And I didn't really feel like she was really putting up much resistance. Well, I shouldn't say resistance. I should say she wasn't putting up much offense against a fighter who technically is a smaller fighter. Listen, Chris is fighting at or near her weight, and she's fighting a fighter that's coming up 3 weight classes. That's 19 pounds from lightweight to junior middleweight. And she treated her like they were the same size. Let's move on to Natasha. The pros would be, I have to give her props for coming up that high. Now, I know I complain a lot about women having to jump up so many weight classes in order to get fights, but it does take guts to fight a fighter that's 3 weight classes above you. I like the fact that she was working the jab. She was giving her a couple of different angles. And I like the fact that she was throwing a good straight left hand, which is what got Chris hurt. The cons for Natasha would actually be nothing. I mean, when you knock a woman out in the second round, you pretty much did everything right. It's hard to give any cons. Let's talk about the fight. You saw how the fight went. Chris had zero head movement. Natasha knew that. She set up her punches and she set up the straight shot. Now, like she said, she wasn't in there expecting the knockout or necessarily going for the knockout. But I think when she realized that she had a woman standing in front of her who really wasn't giving much movement, I think she saw it and I think she took it. And like a lot of you, I picked Natasha by decision because I think that there's a reason why they took this fight. Yes, I know it's brave of her to jump up 3 weight classes, but a fighter doesn't do something that dangerous, that crazy without really thinking they're going to win the fight. Yes, you may think that a lot of fighters go into every fight thinking they're going to win the fight. But I'm saying that when a fighter jumps up weight classes like that, when they jump up 2-3 weight classes, they're doing it because they're 100% sure they're going to beat the fighter. Think about Adrian Broner fighting Paulie Malignaggi, right? Adrian Broner, his last fight was at lightweight. He jumps up to welterweight to fight Paulie Malignaggi, a guy who he knew couldn't hurt him, who he knew he could match athletically, and he had a great chance of winning. I don't think he would have jumped up 2 weight classes to fight Floyd Mayweather at the time. Let's think about Manny Pacquiao jumping up from lightweight to welterweight to fight a washed Oscar De La Hoya. No, I don't think he would have done that to fight a prime Oscar De La Hoya. Roy Jones jumping past from light heavyweight, jumping past cruiserweight all the way up to heavyweight to fight John Ruiz. Why? Because he knew it was a guy who, even as a smaller man, he had advantages over. And I feel the same way about Natasha here. I felt like she knew that she had advantages over Chris. If nothing else, if it wasn't the power, she definitely had the speed. And that speed, she could have used to neutralize her that whole fight and won the fight by decision. So now let's talk about what happens from here. I think retirement. I think Natasha did it. She wanted to get a title. I believe that's the only reason she jumped up that high was to get a title, not for her to challenge any other women at that weight class. That's why if you looked at the interview, you didn't hear her call anyone out. She didn't say, I'm going to go home and talk to my family and see where we go from here. She just said, I'm going to go home and spend time with my family, which is what she needs to do. It's been a pretty good career, and why not go out on top with a win like that? She goes out with a win. As a matter of fact, a great win, a knockout, and she has the title. Fight fans, what did you think about the fight? Do you agree with me that Natasha needs to go ahead and just call it good? That's a good win to go out on. Or would you like to see her fight someone else, fight a couple of more times? Or you have someone particularly in mind that you might want to see her fight? Either way, if you haven't already, like and subscribe and give me your comments. Other than that, that's all I got. I'll let y'all later.